All right, guys, it is Tuesday morning. Well, actually, it's probably about noon by now. Time for a long overdue update on the 55 projects. If you've been following along, or if you have not been following along, I have two 1955 Chevrolet cars. One is a two-door hardtop right here. The other one is a four-door sedan that I'm going to build for my wife. This one's kind of in timeout because I'm a little upset with it. So I jumped on the four-door to do a little bit of work, get my mind off of this thing. It's what I like to do, having multiple projects. When I get frustrated with one, I like to work on another one, and then when I get frustrated good on the other one, I'll jump back on the other. So just kind of a way that I like to deal with it. But now I'm ready to get back on the hardtop, but now I'm like in the middle of this thing. So anyway, I'll show you what I've got done here so far. So you'll notice on the four-door right away, all the glass is out of it and the doors are off of it. Last minute, just decided to go ahead and remove this door so I can finish all the rust repair in here, get all the panels built and repaired. And then at that point, I just went ahead and took them all off. And the glass, this dash needs to be blasted with my portable sandblaster. So I decided to go ahead and pull the windshield so I can have easy access to get in here and blast this. So while I've got the blaster out doing that, I've decided I'm going to do where this is kind of rough right up in here and down in here. I'm going to blast all this stuff, and then I'm going to blast this section of the rockers down here to kind of clean this up, because this is really getting scruffy looking, both sides. And then I can mix up some epoxy and shoot the dash and all these little areas here to keep it protected. If you've been following along, I was working on rust repair on the floor. I got all the floors done. I got it coated in POR 15. The next step is to seam seal everything. I'm going to seam seal all the floor. So if you did not catch this, I repaired quite a bit of rust in this thing. They had a square piece of tin pop riveted on this side, and then they fiberglassed that whole floorboard over there. I cut the floors out, and I built new panels myself out of a deck lid and rolled beads in it and butt welded everything in. There is nothing overlapped. Everything is butt welded. I tried rolling beads in this with my bead roller by myself, which is pretty much impossible, but I was in a hurry. And the beads looked like I was drunk when I did it, so I don't really care. I mean, it's just a daily driver, is all the car's going to be anyway. I'm not worried about what somebody looks under it and cares. That side over there, I had my wife run the bead roller handle while I fed it through and eyeballed it. So that side, the beads turned out pretty good, but that side turned into a mess. I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so to me, the floor is patched pretty well. It's a pretty decent quality patch. You know, it's not perfect. It's not the correct way. The correct way would have been buying actual panels, which I didn't have the money for. So I just did the best with what I had. Now, the deck lid that I used, somebody had vandalized that car, and they used, like, it looked to me like a board, and they used the edge. There was 3 long deep creases on that one side of the deck lid, and this is the piece that I used. So after I cut it out, I hammer and dollied those creases out, but you know, the metal stretched out. And then when I rolled the beads in it, I thought that would fix it, but it didn't. It still had a little bit of, you know, thunk to it. So I ended up splitting and putting a little cross in it and then just welding it all at one time. And it warped the crap out of it, but it's stiff, so I don't really care. Again, I'm not putting mirrors into this car like I'm going to the hardtop, so this car I just don't care. As long as it's patched up and there's no more rust, I'm good with it. So everything got plug welded like it should be. Like the brace under here is plug welded. That brace here, everything's plug welded, and then everything else is butt welded, nothing overlapped. And then I coated everything with POR 15. I've mentioned this before, if you're going to use that POR 15, I have never had a problem with that stuff. I have one buddy that ever had an issue with it, and his problem was bare metal. He had brand new shiny metal in his floor, and he put POR 15 over it, and it didn't stick to it. It just didn't bond to that bare metal very well, so it just peeled off. So if you have any bare metal spots, my advice would be to etch prime it or epoxy prime it first, at least the bare metal. That POR 15 is designed to go over crusty, rusty stuff, but you do have to clean it. You have to clean that area. You don't want to put it just directly on it. This is what I used on my bare metal areas, like on my welds themselves, and then these patch panels here were made out of flat, brand new sheet metal, so all that stuff got etch primed first. And the other thing, in case you don't know, if you're going to seam seal the inside of your car, do not put seam sealer over bare metal. You want to put it over coated metal first. So my advice would be coat the floor first, let it dry, and then put your seam sealer on. If you put seam sealer over bare metal, it'll eventually rust underneath it and it will delaminate. So keep that in mind when you've got to re-seam seal something. The best thing about that POR15, I can tell you, if you've got, you know, like this, I had surface rust everywhere back here. So I used a cut brush and I cleaned it up a little bit. I didn't try to clean it perfect. I just roughed it up a little bit, and then I used wax and grease remover on a brand new microfiber rag and wiped all that dusty crap off of it. That way that POR15 can bond to it very well. So the next thing I'll be doing is seam sealing the inside of the car up. And then once that's dry, then I'm going to bust out the pressure washer, and I'm going to pressure wash the firewall, get all this old grease off the firewall, and up underneath the middle of the car there's a big old patch of grease under there. Get all the underneath the car pressure washed off. And then when all that water dries, I'm going to go in here and hang plastic in here. I'm going to blast the dash, and I'm going to blast all this area here. It's real scaly, and blast these rockers because these are looking pretty rough. So I need to blast all this area down in here where I can find all my clean good metals so I can, you know, cut out the bad. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I mean, it's progress, you know what I mean? As far as the hardtop, there's nothing to update. I took my engine, my 400 small block, to a machine shop, and the guy was 2 months behind. He said he was probably over 2 months behind, so I just turned around and came back home. I'm not interested in waiting that long in a machine shop. I have never had to wait that long on a machine shop. I live in a small town, and I'm surrounded by small towns, and I can't imagine there being that many engines in machine shops around here. But the machine shops that I've used in the past, 2 of them have closed down. They're no longer in business, so I may be having to take it to one of these other places. So I may have to wait, I don't know. But I have one other place I want to try, so I'm going to do that first. And if they're 2 months behind, then I'll just load it back up and I'll go ahead and take it to this other place because it's closer. But anyway, that's where I'm at on the engine, the 400 small block for the 55. So let's see, I went and worked at my cousin's house. I have a mobile mechanic service. I work on old cars. Anyway, my cousin has a two-door hardtop 55 that he got back from paint a couple of years ago, and it needed everything put together. So I went and worked at his house this past 2 days. I've worked on the car quite a bit through this past year. But anyway, I went over there and worked Thursday and Friday, made a little money, which was nice, and I brought home a few more parts. He has gave me pretty much all his old parts from his car, which a lot of his old parts are reproduction parts that cleaned up very well. So here's some of the stuff I brought home this go around, which is a door mirror. Now this has a couple little small pits, but overall it's going to be perfect for that car. I got his old under taillight V8 emblems, which they do have some pitting in them, but it's not terrible. These go underneath the taillights like they are on my hardtop. This car was originally a straight 6-cylinder engine, so it didn't have anything under the taillights, so I do need to drill the holes to mount them. And then I got a brand new set of Taylor 8mm 90-degree boot spark plug wires, but they're red. You guys that have been watching my stuff long enough know that I do not like colored spark plug wires. I like black, but I'm not going to complain because they were free. So I'm going to run them on this car. Other thing I got was right here. These are Corvette original finned aluminum valve covers. The problem is these are staggered pattern instead of straight across. I do not have staggered pattern heads, and somebody's went through here and they've kind of chopped that out there and it's not straight. So I mean, that could be straightened up a little bit. It's going to thin them out. But I have a buddy that has a set of adapters hanging on his wall that he said he would give me, but the adapters are actually for a straight across perimeter bolt valve cover to center bolt, or center bolt to perimeter bolt. Anyway, I thought I might be able to drill and tap his to run these valve covers on the small block that I'm putting in the 4-door. I thought that'd be kind of cool to have them on there. But anyway, it just depends on if those adapters will work. If I have to buy a set of adapters, they're going to be about $100, and I probably won't buy them. I'll probably just run the Edelbrock valve covers that I have here. So anyway, there's that. So another item that I got from my cousin, which is still on his car, I have to remove it because I'll have to swap the parts, is a master cylinder brake booster combo. This is what is on his car right now, and it has never had fluid put in it. It's brand new. It's a CPP unit for a 55, 6, or 7 Chevy. He does not like all the gold anodized stuff, so He ended up buying chrome. Everything's chrome. Everything under his hood is chrome. He's a chrome guy. So actually this is the one he got right here, if I can find it. That's the one he just bought. This is all chrome, but it has a really cool finned lid on it, and he has finned aluminum valve covers, so it'll match underneath his hood really, really nice. So anyway, I ended up with his brand new booster master combo. So now I have power brakes with a dual reservoir master cylinder I'll be putting on the car, which will make me feel better, especially having my wife driving it, having a dual reservoir master cylinder for safety issues. So anyway, what else? Man, I think that's it. I've had a couple of questions from guys that you know, has recently found my channel, and they haven't obviously watched all my videos, because I have a lot of videos on there. Anyway, I had somebody ask me what color I was painting the four-door. Also had another guy ask me what wheels I was running on the four-door, so I'll run you through that. This car originally was Neptune green, which is this dark green color, and then the roof is this tan color right here. Or not tan, it's I think they call this sea mist green, so it's like a pale green. And you can see the factory two-tone line right here. But the reason it's discolored right here is from that gluey, you know, butyl stuff they use to seal the window seal in there. But anyway, now I'm going to paint the car this color. This is called Willow Green. This is a single stage urethane, and it's, you know, it's like a 50s style green, just a pale green. It is kind of close, but it's a little bit more green than this. This to me looks a little bit more blue than this, so that's why I like this better. But anyway, I'm going to paint the whole car this color, but this roof is going to be beige or tan, and then that way it'll be a two-tone car, but it'll have a two-good brake on it. So the other thing is I'm going to do is the dash. I'm going to paint this green as well, but the center section in the dash is going to be that same tan color, which would be correct for this 210. That's the way the 210s were. This center was a different color. It was like white or tan or beige or whatever they put in there. But anyway, so I'm going to put the tan in the center, so it'll be green and tan dash. And then I am going to be running, this is a 210 four-door, but I'm going to run Bel Air quarter moldings on it. Those are my favorite moldings for a 55 Chevy. I love the Bel Air moldings because they have an indent I call a cove all the way down that is supposed to have a paint color in there, which originally is a white. I am going to put that same tan color in that center of that trim, so that'll be a really great detail. And then the other place I'm going to put some more tan is in these factory hubcaps. These are correct for this 210-55. Now originally they had either white in here in this little strip right here or black. It seems like 55 was white and 56 was black, but I can't ever remember. But I'm going to put that tan in here in these hubcaps after I clean them up and repolish them. And then this is the wheels I'll be using. These are 15x7 factory GM steel wheels from a late 70s to 80s Chevy big four-door car Caprice. You know, it's the same as Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick. But anyway, these are 7s. They offered a 6-inch wide and a 7, and these are the 7s. And if you're going to go to an old salvage yard looking for a set of these, I can tell you easily how to spot the 7s over the 6s. Because to me, the 7s look like a deep dish rim, and that's what I like about them. From right here, this last little roll in the hoop right here, to the center section of the rim, that's about 1 inch to it. That is how you know you got a 7. The 6s, the rim center is like right here. So it almost looks like a zero offset style wheel. They're just not very pretty. I mean, they work and they still look vintage, but I like the 7s better. But the cool part about these wheels is they have these indents right here where your factory 150 or 210 caps snap on there. So this is the wheels I'll be running. Now, if you're going out looking, be careful because they do offer 2 lug patterns. They offer a 5-on-5-inch pattern and a 5-on-4 3/4. You're obviously going to need the 5-on-4 3/4 for your car. And I was told by a guy that the station wagons were the only ones that had the 5-on-5 pattern, which would be the same as a pickup like mine. And that is not true. I had a friend of mine about 10 years ago that had an ex-cop car Caprice, box-style Caprice, and it had the 5-on-5 pattern. So I would definitely check the lug pattern before purchasing the wheels. Anyway, what else? Where am I at? 1448. But that's pretty much where I'm at on the four-door. Probably go get some seam sealer, this weekend and go ahead and get the floor seam sealed, and at least that part will be done. But I'm excited. I mean, got a little bit of work done. The majority of the rust is fixed in the car. I obviously still got to fix the dog leg, but I got a long way to go on the two-row hardtop as well. But I would like to at least maybe finish up the dog leg, get the dash and all that other stuff blasted and epoxy primed. I want to paint the underneath of the car with some POR 15 and then get the frame painted and then bolt the frame with the new urethane energy suspension body mounts back to it, bolt the suspension stuff back on it and put the wheels on it so it's a roller again. And at that point, I'm gonna wrap it up with a cover and put it back in the fence. That way I can get back on this. That's kind of where I want to get, and that way a lot of the hard work is done on that car. It'll just be fun stuff after that, you know what I mean? Anyway, guys, that's the update. It's time for me to go eat because I'm getting hungry. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do that. The only thing you're going to see is more work on cars. Thanks for watching.